Hi, Tefi. We were just talking about how being kinder and more patient to ourselves when we were experiencing self-doubt will help us become better leaders of self. But we don't know where to begin exactly. On your social media platforms, you're often outspoken about your past struggles with body image and self-confidence. How did you reach this point of self-acceptance where you can be honest and vulnerable with not only yourself, but also your millions of followers?
I feel like it has to come from a place of, we always think about how people will not like us. I think it starts with accepting that people just might like you. And for that, I refer to the people who already love me. Whenever it's a grounding moment for me when before I post a video or present myself or speak about something I'm passionate about, I know that people will accept me, and those who don't accept me, we're never going to accept me. It's an acceptance and it's a gratitude for the people who do embrace you. And the internet is a it's a big place. I call it like the Wild West, and there is something for everyone. So we have to choose to believe that if there's something for everyone, there's someone for everyone too. And that is like our community. Does that make sense? No?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, of course.
Well, are there maybe times and places or people where you feel you can be your most authentic and vulnerable self? Maybe starting with you, Baliqees, maybe perhaps, other than here with me.
Yeah, Tefi, I think authenticity actually is something that should be inbuilt. It should be something that you do without anybody coercing you to do it. And as a social activist, I have been at places with people, different community. And at every point in time, I have to adjust to their way of life, what language they speak, how they react to situations, and all of that. So yeah, I've been so vulnerable at some point. And I think authenticity is just something that I just have to be authentic. I don't have to pretend like I'm Tefi. No, I'm Baliqees. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's nobody like you. And I think when it comes to social activism, especially, the idea that you're going to change thousands of minds with one post, with one sentence, is not maybe an achievable goal, but the idea that you can reach one person is enough to give you the confidence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And that brings me to how we have many incredible youth activists in the world marching in the street and speaking on stages, that I sometimes experience imposter syndrome, really. Like maybe I'm not doing enough to call myself an activist. So Tefi, as a popular media personality, right, do you ever experience similar feelings of imposter syndrome? And if so, how do you quiet those negative noise in your head?
I only really experience imposter syndrome very rarely, only every time I'm awake. That's really the only time that I really feel like maybe, and I think imposter syndrome comes from a place of, oh my God, they're going to find out that I'm a phony, that I'm fake. So my rule is, if it's not coming from the heart and it's not coming from a place of where you want better, where you're coming from a place of, I love us enough that I want to talk about it. If I don't feel that, I'm not going to make a video about it. And I think we can tell many, many times when we're online, and maybe we can see that it's a little performative or it's a little passive. So if I want to speak from a place of confidence and authenticity, it really has to come from a place of love. And that really is what speaking on the internet, especially when it comes to causes that we care so much about. We talk about these causes because we love people enough that we know that everybody deserves a life of dignity. So as soon as we tap into exactly. So I think if we can tap into the idea of if it's affecting you, it's affecting me, that's an authentic human feeling. And confidence comes secondary to authenticity. Authenticity comes first. You have to know who you are before you can present who you are. And once you can present who you are, it's no longer a performance, it's a conversation. And if you can talk about the things that you love, people will naturally gravitate to that.
Yeah.
I love us.
Yeah, I totally agree. totally agree, Tefi. I totally agree. Yeah.
Yara, question for you.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about times when you wanted to be open with your community and feelings that maybe you didn't succeed in that like you thought you would?
Yeah, well, actually, I remember times of my life where it was kind of failures, like after success and then failure and then success. So it was actually difficult to be open with your community because it will not be always supportive. But after I experienced this and after I realized like there's no success without a failure, I realized that I have to be open to be someone who motivates people who are failing now to be succeeding in the future. And I created this peaceful mindset of I don't care if people who are not supporting me will see that the one who's failing now will be succeeding tomorrow. And then they will support me and say, yeah, we're supporting you. But the problem is that they don't exactly support us in the time we need them to support us. But, the thing is that why do you think transparency about these insecurities on big platforms like yours or global stages like this are so important? What's one way we can all become more aware or honest with ourselves so that we can become better leaders with our peers and our communities?
I think the key to everything, I mean, when I talk about people, and I think I talk about people so much because I love people, and unfortunately we can't get away from them, right? So we can. And I feel the most important thing when we're sharing stories is to talk about the ways that people have failed their way into success. And that's what I think you were touching on, failing and succeeding, and taking small victories for what they are. They are victories. So when it comes to becoming better leaders with our peers and our communities, I think the key is to remain malleable and to remain teachable. Every day I get on the internet and I never, ever, ever think I know everything or I know every perspective. Sometimes I'll get on there and I'll say, I know for a fact the sky is purple, and we all have to agree the sky is purple. And somebody will say, well, where I'm from, the sky is blue. And for me to deny that experience for somebody means I'm not part of this community, so we have to remain open-minded. And if we're trying to make change, it cannot be for people who are just like us.
Wow.
Nice. I mean, that's like very striking, Tefi. So thank you so much, Tefi, and all of you for joining us in that leadership activity with Tefi.